Hi everyone and welcome back. In this section we're just going to keep continuing blocking out the basics of our model and we'll just see how far we get. So in the last section you see that we got a good amount of blocking in, most of his body's done. So we're just going to start blocking out just the little sections from the front view here, just his shoulder area, and then we'll get into his little legs after that. So again, I'm just going to create a sphere. Just move that back up into this area. I'm just going to check where the end sweep is. The end sweep we don't have to move too much on that one because we want it to be in the middle of our shoulder plate here. So I'm just going to kind of make it a little bit bigger. Move that up to about there. And rotate it just a little bit more. Right click, select some of the control vertex, select these little guys here. I'm just going to move that there, and we're going to rotate just a little bit. Right click, select isoparm, move that over to there, insert, isoparm. Again, grab some of the vertex that are left behind. And see that we can start making that rough shape of the overall shoulder. Probably bring this right down to here and move over. Now the reason why I did that was because he's going to have more gears and stuff in there. It looks like this is just a covering. I'm going to right click, select this isoparm. We're going to do something a little different. Instead of inserting, we're going to go detach again. So we're going to find detach, and then we can just click that inner surface right out. Right click, isoparm again. Insert a new one a little bit closer to the edge there. So what we can do now is we can do this area. So again, grab the sphere. The end sweep is going towards the body, which is fine for his hand as well. So I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. And we're actually going to rotate. Let's see what we're going to do with this. Actually, we don't need to rotate. We're just going to cut these isoparms right here. So we're going to detach those little guys. And then we can start shaping a bit more. Again, this is just the basic shape that we're after. We're going to add extra panels and plates and all that stuff in a little bit. So right where the thumb is, you see it, I'm just going to pulling it up. And this area can kind of smush a little closer. So something that looks kind of like that. Now again, we're going to have to go to our side view. But before I do that, I'm going to have to hide my stuff here. So I'm just going to go display, hide selection, go to your side view. You can grab the hall again if you want. And we're just going to make it not so wide as it starts to go up towards the shoulder. We can grab this little area. Push it out. Right there. So we have something like that. Now again, we're going to cut all of this area up after. So don't worry too much that it's not quite in the way it's supposed to. We're just kind of going for the general shape right now. And his other shoulder you don't even have to worry about right now, just because it's a gun instead of a hand. But I am going to go back over to this side. I'm going to grab this hull right here, and I'm going to straighten it right out. Just going to cut it, and then I can straighten it, because again, that's open underneath. So now I can grab that hull and rotate. Now I can straighten it down. Vertex. So you see how everything's kind of built in stages? Yeah, you can see that we're already starting to think ahead of where we need to go once we're all done with the basic shape. So we have all the openings for all our little gears and things that will be in there. And we can bring back all of our other geometry. Just make sure that this isn't hitting. So I'm just going to square this off. Like that. There you go. Alright, so our one arm is built. What we can do now is come around to the side, and we're going to build these little feet here. And again, really easy to do, especially with a sphere. Bring it down. Again, you're going to have to kind of use both angles that you have. Again, the drawing's a little bit off. And we're just going to stretch this right out right off the bat here. This is definitely going to get cut up quite a bit later on. I'm just going to go to these little guys, and I'm going to make them a little bit wider. And then we're going to grab all of it, and we're going to kind of put it into where that area is. You can see it kind of comes down here. It's a little hidden there, so we're going to use our side view as well. This little guy comes right about there, and he's going to kick up like that. Now don't worry that the area gets stretched. What we're going to do is just see how we're just rotating that back. This is like doing a human foot in a way. We do the same process. So we're going to come up. Let's move quite a bit back now. Again, rotate this little guy. And then we're going to bring this guy. He's going to start to come down. As he's coming down, you're going to rotate it so that you don't lose that plump, fat, rounded area. And we're going to add some isoparms into this area here. Now this is another important area where you want to remember about what your model is going to do in the future, if it's going to animate and things like that. You want to make sure that all these little joints that we're starting to create and starting to, show a little bit more are going to be really able to move and bend correctly. So wherever you have a joint, you want to have three closer lines. You'll have 1, 2, and 3. The original one was in the middle, and I put 2 on the side. So that's going to help us bend our character later. You can see now I can just kind of go in there, just rotate things a little bit better. more of a pronounced little pad for his foot. Let's get a little closer. This is going to drop down. Now we'll get a little closer. See how we just kind of built a little bit of an elbow. Very basic elbow, but it's still what we need it to be. I'm going to put another little isopalm here. And I'm just going to drop a couple right in the middle of that area there where you have some gaps. So we have our first little leg built. Now we're going to build another one. So we're just going to duplicate this. So we're going to go Edit, Duplicate, and we're just going to push back, get it into the right position. Now his back leg is a lot smaller than his front leg, so I'm going to go Modify, Center Pivot, which is just going to put all my marquees and my little manipulators right in the middle of that area there. So we know that this little guy is kind of in the right place. Now, I'm also not going to actually put these on an angle yet, because when I get into detail, it's going to be a lot easier for me just to use straight on, kind of like a modeling pose, before I start going back and say putting them back on an angle a little bit, because we have to make sure that it's attaching to the body correctly and things like this. And from looking at this, it does look like it might be a little bit of organics underneath some metal plating or something, especially just in this little part on the back there. So that's just something we're going to have to keep in mind. Alright, so we're just going to keep on moving on, and we're going to build this little section right here. It's a little metal plate. Again, you can use another sphere. And this is just going to come down, and we're going to shape this little guy right off the bat. I'm going to cut off the back end real fast. It looks like this plate here. Right click, select isopalm, detach. And I'm going to show you guys how to do shortcuts in a minute. Things will really start to speed up. Instead of always using the pull down menu. So we're just going to make this guy a little bit here. I'm going to drop that end sweep to the bottom. And let's come over to here. Now, if you want to make sure everything's lined up, you're going to go Shading under your viewport and just go Wireframe on Shaded. That way you can always see what your model is as far as center goes. You don't have to worry about the drawing, because the drawing is not quite accurate. So we're going to bring this up, have these little guys, we're going to pull that right up, and then grab the two sides, putting them down. We're just mimicking that shape that you see right in the front there. And it seems like it closes in a little, so we have something like that. And he's just going to kind of come. And I'm using my front view more as a guide to where to put things than my side view for the most part. So he's going to come right around there. And then we're going to grab the area of the torso. And we're going to detach that. So we're going to go Edit Nerves, Detach once again. We're left with that little opening. Looks like he's going to have a lot of little gears and stuff. I'm not going to do all the little gears, but he's going to have quite a few in there. Alright. So let's block out, it looks like his little track here. And again, that's real easy to do. We can actually get away with using the sphere again. This time we're just going to rotate back and down. And just rotate it down. We'll be able to really fix this up once we get into polygons, but right now I'm just going to grab this area here, pull it back. Right click, select isopalm. I'm going to cut this little guy right in half. So again, detach, delete, pull down. The area just above it, pull back up. It's going to push forward. This area is going to just push right back. And again, once we get into polygons, we're going to be able to make nice clean corners. We can actually do a little bit of that right now. See how that's working? Even in a sphere, you can get some nice little stuff happening. So we're going to cut the very front right off. So detach. I'm going to grab this area right here, and we're going to use our scale tool again. See how that worked? Everybody's kind of straight now. So again, I'm using my front view more as a guide to where to place things for the final than the side view. Side view is good for just helping you get that general look. Alright. Again, just gonna make sure everybody's nice and straight. Now if you want to see what this looks like as a whole, or with both arms and things like that, it's really easy to do. You want to make sure that your selector or your cursor is right down the middle. So if you're not sure, you can just bring back your grid really quick. That piece of geometry we just created is, so we're just going to go modify freeze transformation. There it is. And then we're just going to hit edit duplicate special, but you make sure that you have -1 in X, which is your very first little box right after scale. And you're going to hit apply, and you can see that it just kind of pops over there. You can do the same thing with the legs. Now an easy way to do the legs, you can always freeze transformation, but most of the time I don't do any freezing transformation while I'm still modeling. I'll just hit Control G to group, and that just kind of makes a group of it that is set down the center. And then you can just go duplicate special. And then same with the arms. Control G, duplicate special. So now you can see we have the basics pretty much of all the major parts of our character. So we can go in there, and it looks like he has a little bit of a kind of like an exhaust pipe coming from the back. We can grab a cylinder this time. Create cylinder. I'm just going to rotate down. That one's actually a polygon, so that's fine. You go into its inputs, height, cap. You can just turn off, so just hit 0, so it doesn't have a cap on the top. Not much faces, and then you can go into our height, and we can go 6. So you can just get a little bit more geometry there. And I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. Stretch it out a little. Don't worry about going inside the geometry right now. It's fine. Like that. One thing you can do real fast, right click, select faces, just get rid of that face on the top, and there'll be one more on the bottom there. So the exhaust is open. So let's look at our character, see what else we can lock out. Again, we'll come to the armor back and his different arm later on. But for the most part, he's all pretty much ready to go. We can go in and add his track inside that little cover. Pretty easy. We're just going to grab a cylinder once again. This time, again, it's a NURB cylinder, so I'm just going to rotate it down. Select it. Now we're just going to push it out like that. Now we got to make sure that these guys are going to work properly. So we're going to make sure that they're nice and straight. So we're going to grab the front and back, because the track has to be kind of, depending on how many wheels we have in there, which we'll conquer later. That the track is going to move correctly. And make it a little bit bigger. So right about there. It's going to stick out just a little bit from the covering. And we'll definitely make it a lot wider here. Okay, so we have something like that. And then we're going to need to have some support and some gears and things like that attached from here to, say, going into the body. And that can be a little bit tricky, but at the same time it's not too bad. So we're just going to hide some of our area again. So we're going to hide selection under display. We're going to go to the middle part here of our main chest, and we're just going to detach that. Now I'm going to show you guys how to do shortcuts for anybody new. Get all these little icons, because it really does help speed things up. If you wanted to, say, make an icon for detach, what you're going to do is going to hold Shift Control Alt Y. You select that function. So I'm going to hit detach surface. If you watch on the right here, right around here, see it comes up with this little icon. I can hit it and delete. So 90% of the stuff in Maya is able to be shortcutted. In that there's a few exceptions, like the X-ray that I use is actually a mil script. So you can find that on the internet. Just find toggle X-ray, and that should come up for you guys as well. So let's just make some basic little chassis or support here for our little guy here. So we're just going to go to our top view now. And again, there's a couple different ways you can go about this. I am just going to use a plane for now. So I'm going to go create. This time I'm going to use a polygon. So we're going to get into a little bit of polygon modeling, or a cylinder, depending on if you want it round or square. So we can even use, let's see, we can start off with a cube. We're going to go into our inputs where it says width, height, and depth. We're going to say change to, say, let's try 3 for now. And then our subdivisions, we're going to change to 4. And that just gives us a little bit of extra geometry to work with there. So again, we're going to make actually 4 might be a little high. Let's try 3. There we go. And maybe even 2. You can always add stuff to it after. I just don't like working with it super high right off the bat. So we're going to kind of go into the middle right here, and we're going to do 2 separate sides. So this is going to kind of close up a little bit closer. It's going to kind of be like shocks or something like that on a car. And this is going to kind of come and attach there. I'm going to right click and we're going to select faces only, because we're going to kind of bring this up and then into the main body a bit. So we're going to go into our polygon menu set. So switch over to polygons on the top left here, and then you're going to find where it says edit mesh. We're going to go extrude. We're going to select that little circle and we're going to push in once. See how I'm making a little bit of an edge? The closer you have polygon edges means the crisper, harder line you'll have when you go to smooth. I'm going to hit G to repeat last command. There's our option to speed things up. I'm just going to bring it up again, just a little bit, just to create another new little edge. I'm going to hit G. This time I'm going to go a little higher up. Say just to pass the main part of the body. I'm going to hit G again. up to about there, and then I'm going to circle around so I can grab this little box, that little face. I'm going to hit G. I'm going to center it by hitting that little small circle. Bring it in just a little bit. G again. Center. Out just a little. And G into the body. And then one little extra one so it doesn't get rounded off when we go to smooth. So we just kind of built a basic suspension for our character's wheels. Again, it's very basic. It's just getting the shape in there. We're probably going to tear this little guy apart and add some little things to it here and there. Like we can go back to the back here and extrude. I'm starting to use shortcuts. Just a little bit more detail there. And we'll see what it looks like with a smooth. So if I just go to polygon smooth, or mesh smooth, you can see that it has a little bit of a organic-y look and feel. But again, we'll come back to that once we start adding detail. This is just, again, to get some more stuff in there for you guys to play around with and learn from. So I'm going to go edit, delete by type history. And what that did was when you're working with polygons and you're extruding or you're merging vertices or things like that, it builds up a lot of history. So when you know you're happy with what you have and you're not going to be changing anything anytime soon, you can just go into your extrude, or not extrude, but your inputs, go edit, delete by type history. Now it's really important to remember not to do that when you put a smooth on it. If I was to put a smooth on that, then run edit, delete by type history, I'll never be able to get back to this low base mesh. So it's just something to be aware of for the new users that are watching. And just to finish up this section, we're just going to push this back just a little bit. Like that. And then we can Control G, group, and duplicate special. And do the same for this little guy. Alright. And bring back everybody. And go to our chest as well. And we're going to knock out a nicer chest when we go into polygons, which will be in the next section because we're pretty much ready for some polygon work now. Alright. So in between sections, if you guys are feeling adventurous, just kind of get as close to what you see I have on your model. And in the next section, we're going to start building a couple more armor plates here, and just basic nerves to kind of get it a little bit closer. So we can build a gun later on. The gun's not going to be that difficult. So you see these little guys right here on the side. We'll try to get a couple of those in the next section. And then we're going to start converting all of our geometry into polygons so that we can really start hammering out some more basic details, which will really get us going into a lot more detail very fast after that. So hope you guys are doing okay, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Till then, have fun and take care.